So just I'm going to share uh, a PPT whichever is with me now. The first unit, Raman Effect. So what Raman's efforts indeed in his invention. So while he was traveling from one place to the place, what he found that the only thought why the sea was blue. So the thought actually provoked him to go for it, and he started thinking about and he invented. Even before that, many other scientists also had said many things that because of only sky is blue and so that water is like that. So he was not satisfied. He was not convinced with anyone's statement. Just he wanted to do it. He wanted to work for it. So that he moved on like so that further whatever he wanted to find it and he passion for it. Especially when you think that here inventions are there and inventors are there. And there are many inventions. Even wheel was invented and printing press was invented, mobile phone was invented, and many things were invented. So just I want to ask you some questions. Just you can brainstorm your right mm, your answer. So there are questions are given. Just only name was not given, right? Just the description is given. We have to find out the name, the person who invented so and so instrument. So if you take here, just in unit one, the Raman effect, can you identify the following three inventors? So the inventors were there, right? They are great indeed. Because of them, today we can see this world is so vast and moving very faster and moving ahead. So the first I can ask you, around the year 1440, this man, a goldsmith by profession, introduced a printing system by creating a metal movable type and adapting the existing technologies to create the imprint. So that you understand the thing. Who created that, right? Who invented the printing machine? So printing machine, when printing machine has come, today we can see the revolution. So whatever the revolution we see today, the right, what we take that actually print out today, and maybe other right newspaper and anything because of the person. Who is this man? Who is this man? Can you guess the person who is this man and how he was? So today we can see that they are very stylish, but in those days, in 14th century, 15th century itself, people had great stylish kind of thoughts, styling, not in our dressing or something like the styling thoughts, how the people were there here, let's see, right? Just you can see, who is here? Johannes Gutenberg with his invention, printing machine. So you can see the person who is beard and turban, right, with a long coat and with the supporters of the people. How he invented that machine, right? Then, so personalities were like that in the 15th century also. So the printing machine was invented in the 15th century. So everybody has the innovative thoughts, the thoughts how you are taking them forward for in practicality and same time materialized kind of things. So we can see that here the person was Johannes Gutenberg with his invention printing machine. That printing machine was invented by him in 1440, right? By 1500, the device that he invented was in operation throughout Europe. It was used to print copies of books in large numbers. Its major advantages were that this technology considerably reduced the cost of printing. So that because of him today we can see the books that reduced them. Earlier days it was totally different. We used to write them with the right feather and with the pens and with in ink and with pens and like hey, many things would have come. But at last the printing machine has come. How it has been really like reducing the complete work and the efforts of the people and it has become very easy and user friendly for everyone. And then we can see the second question for you. These brothers, of course, when I say brothers, these brothers, that you understand that who are the brothers here. So these brothers believe that an unstoppable vehicle like a flying machine was capable of being controlled better with some skill. They designed and built a on 17 December 1903. So in 1903, it is in the 18th century. So in the 19th century, we can say early 19th century. In the early 19th century, that the mission, of course, we say aircraft. Today, everybody is flying very easily, just staying, sitting on everything, or depends on the distance. They are staying and going and flying so that experiencing just like a bird flying in the sky. So who are they? Of course, all of you know that who the person, who are the two brothers here. They are that Oville Wright and Wilbur Wright brothers. These two brothers called Wright brothers. That so Oville Wright and Wilbur Wright thought that they should not be fly just like birds, so that their thought made them to fly. So that you can see that these brothers believed that an unstoppable vehicle like a flying machine was capable of being controlled better with some skill. Definitely it is possible that flying in the sky is simple one, as they thought that they immediately started implementing it. So thinking is different, implementing is different. Only the man's life or the society's life depends on thoughts itself. When you have very good thoughts, society will get benefited. When you have very bad thoughts or evil thoughts, society gets disrupted, destroyed. That's how these two Wright brothers really thought about it, flying in the sky. It happened, and the dream uh, has come true for them. They designed and built a gasoline engine light and powerful enough to propel a plane. They built the first powered aircraft and tested it successfully on 17 December 1903. The skills they had learned from their gliding practice helped them to control the aircraft. With each flight, they covered an increased amount of distance and their final flight lasted for nearly a minute. So just you can see how this happened. So many times they tried to flow and then fell down, right? Tried it and fell down, tried and fell down. At last, finally they succeeded. So that the things here, whenever the person has determination, definitely perseverance and persistence. Of course, words seem very simple, but when it comes into practicality, it will be difficult to practice, especially these days, because of electronic gadgets are there in every hand. So that's how this is going to deviate from our invention. Let so we have to spend time for that also. Divide the time. Divide the time for your right mobile phones and other shopping, and divide the time for your right free space wherever you are very calm and all very good. Whenever you are calm, you'll get very good thoughts. So that you can divide the time not only for the gadgets for entire the day, 24 hours, not for that. You divide them into sleep and something many things. Okay, then definitely you will have also good innovative thoughts. The thoughts may give a bright light for the nation also. And today we can see the most right vastly used gadget is mobile. How this mobile phone was right invented? The Motorola company, the big mobile phone was invented by the people here industry on 3rd April, right? On 3rd April 1973, the passers-by on the 6th Avenue. 6th Avenue is the richest place in New York City. So just like Banjara Hills in Hyderabad, so 6th Avenue is one of the richest right, places in New York City. Witnessed something very strange. An employee of Motorola making a phone call using very big handheld device. He then walked into a scheduled press conference and called his chief computer at AT&T, thereby announcing the arrival of the handheld portable cell phone. That you can see. So where he thought in 1973, so Graham Bell of course invented telephone. So that was one thing. And after that, people did not stop for that itself satisfactory. They are not contented. So the people were not satisfactory with only the inventions, whatever they were. Then started again. In 1973, so that has come just only a portable or mobile phone has come. Who is he? Just you can say Martin Cooper. If you think about that, Martin Cooper, how he was in 1973. So people definitely just pass away, right? But only their inventions will be forever there. Their smartphone, right? How the person thought about. So here, Apple, right? Phones icon, iPhone. Okay. So what their invention, what their thought made them invent great things today. World is using voraciously, and their entire families and the people are very happy with their inventions. The person may not be there today, but their inventions are forever, of course, as you know that. But implementing is very important. Then let's go for our C.V. Raman, who is an Indian, but Raman effect has really affected. The effect is affected the entire world. That is really like to take to the entire world. So was the first person who got Nobel Prize for his physics invention. Though he wanted to become ICS, Indian Civil Services, so he achieved that and became great accountant general also. But he could not be satisfied with that. Just he wanted to move away from there. So whatever his passion, so because his father was physics faculty, physics teacher, and that influence might be there on him. His father wanted him to become an IAS officer. It means ICS, Indian Civil Service. In those days, it was called Indian Civil Services. So even he could get it because of his health was not good. He could not be there. But the next he got that deputy accountant general Calcutta, where he got in civil services competitive exam and becoming the deputy accountant general in Calcutta. That was one great achievement because in those days uh, for Indians, actually, the first class jobs and gazetted jobs were not given. But Chandrasekhar Venkatraman really got the best and the highest thing. So, even he got the job, he was not satisfied. The central government job also did not satisfy him. Then he wanted to come out of it and he went off again. Yes, even back that year, whatever his passion was at the book. That's even wherever you are. So I can say most of my friends that here, vocation and avocation is there. For everyone, vocation and avocation. What is vocation? Vocation means profession, what you get. Sometimes you like it or don't like it. Definitely you have to do for, right, for breadwinning for your family members. But avocation is that your hobby, that your passion. The passion forces you to do something even you are in a vocation, in the profession also. So that has given you that how this happening there. So that Sri Raman's effect was really great, we can say. So we can say here, in the year 1930, the most unexpected in the world of science, yes, the science totally looked towards India. He was a person, C.V. Raman. But C.V. Raman, he is an Indian. Okay, he's South Indian, he's Tamilian, so whatever. So the people felt that, okay, entirely, really, India also had great stuff in inventing many things. So that he got Nobel Prize for it. A young Indian researcher, Chandrasekhar Venkatraman, won the Nobel Prize for physics for his groundbreaking discovery of the phenomenon called the Raman phenomenon, totally observed, recognized, renownedly recognized. So it's not a simple thing, it is a phenomenon effect. That Raman effect was totally phenomenon all over the world. Everybody started observing the person and observing the effects. And the person who was right, he was from the middle class family, of course. So he had that. Even of course his father was a physics teacher. The the genes also had helped him, but the person who had no, the other deviations had only one pointed kind of thinking, so that he went on. So was born in Tiruchirappalli in Tamil Nadu, despite clearing the civil services competitive exam and becoming the deputy accountant general in Calcutta. So became deputy accountant general in Calcutta also. It was totally away. And then he joined again in Indian Association for the Cultivation of Sciences. So even Indian Association for the Cultivation of Sciences. Cultivation is really used for only right farming and something else. But here you can see ISCS, ISCS, Indian Association for Cultivation of Sciences. So those days, especially in the 19th century or 20th century beginning, okay, 19th century, 19th century, later 19th century and early 20th century, you can say. So at the time, that was the cultivation sciences. So the people Whoever was there here, they started inventing. So as you know that in the 18th century it was industrial revolution. All over the world, entire the people started developing the industries and construction, everything. When it comes to the early 19th century, it was science century, we can say, right? In the beginning of the 20th century also. Early, right, 19th century and beginning of 20th century. This all entire, it's a centuries of sciences. So that you can say Indian aspirations for the cultivation of sciences attracted him to join in that and working for that, even in night also. In day and night he used to work, so the passion led him to go for it. So he did not work for getting Nobel Prize. The thing is only his passion led him to get the Nobel Prize. In 1917, he finally gave up his administrative position to become a professor of physics at Calcutta University. So at last, after his studies and all, so he thought that we are sitting at one place and writing accounts. So what is this job? Sometimes monotonous. Sometimes some jobs are very monotonous, very routine. So in 1917 itself, Sir Chandrasekhar Venkat Raman thought that so sitting at this place and writing accounts and all was not his duty, and he joined as a professor of physics at Calcutta University at the time itself. Then that changed his life. He joined as professor in Calcutta University, so his life was totally changed. But then he embarked on his first trip overseas to London as a delegate at the university's Congress in 1921. So as he was the professor in Calcutta University, then he wanted to go for right the other places to present the papers. And while he was delegate at the university's Congress, university's conference meeting in 1921, so something like strike this mind. First trip overseas to London, London to India, India to London by a ship, by a ship, okay, by a ship. So it was great journey for him. It was a great voyage for him. Reading faces of time. At the time, you can see that many faces were there like Vijay Thompson and Lord Rutherford. Vijay Thompson and Lord Rutherford were already acquainted with the Raman significant study in the field of optics and acoustics. When they found it, what are the optics are there in the physics and acoustics, what they are used, what is that scattering of light, and all this really found. But Raman's effect was totally different. You can see in that uh, science in the finally gave up his administrative. By the time he embarked on his first trip overseas to London as a delegate at the University's Congress in 1921, leading physicists of the time like Vijay Thompson and Lord Rutherford were already acquainted with Raman's significant study in the field of optics and acoustics. Raman had studied percussion instruments like the tabla and the mridangam. Even Raman had that tabla and mridangam quite touch with that, right? He was a musician also. Then he connected with that sound with the physics. So it is connected with that, and before that only, more specifically, the mathematical relationships that produce the pleasing effects of the sound. Mathematical calculations that actually produce that pleasing effects of the sounds. And already he was working on that tabla and mridangam, how it is connected to the science like. But during this particular sea voyage to London, that he was struck by the blue color of the Mediterranean Sea. So while he was moving that, okay, place. So voyage to London. So it was a journey on the sea. So that while he was doing that, he found that blue color of the Mediterranean Sea. Why it was like that? So that generally we see and forget to leave it and go away. But only few people will have that. Then you know that Abdul Kalam's life also. So when he was on the terrace of his home, just he found that flying an aeroplane. Then he found that yes, when should I when should I drive the flight? It was a thought. Generally what we see, when should I get into the right flight and go to some places like. Whereas right Abdul Kalam's thought was he wanted to become pilot. So by seeing that, here's the same. So when he was voyaging to London, he found that blue color sea, white was like that. Till that time, it was generally accepted that the blue color of the sea was a reflection of the sky. Then other all the people also did the same thing, confirmed by the physicist Lord. Raleigh, even Lord Raleigh has already confirmed that because the sky is blue, so the sky is blue, so that sea is blue light. So this statement actually did not convince C.V. Raman to go right, accept it. He had proposed that the minute particles, so had proposed that the minute particles in the air scattered the blue wavelength from the sun's white rays. So here, Ray, confirmed by the physicist Lord Ray also, Lord Rayleigh, who said that here, because of minute particles in the air scattered the blue wavelength from the sun's white rays. So sun's white rays has come to that here, the minute particles whichever are that scattered the blue wavelength in this, so that it has become the blue light. So it is totally contradictory sometimes. So that C.V. Raman was totally against about it. Raman was not convinced by this explanation. He speculated that the blue color of the sea could be caused by the scattering of sunlight by the water molecules. Then he speculated that the blue color of the sea could be caused by the scattering of sunlight by the water molecules. So the particles are different water molecules. So that molecules, so the sunlight scattered on the water molecules so that it is colored blue light. So his complete statement is different. Relay's statement is totally different here. Use a polarized nickel prism. So when polarized nickel prism on a sample of tea, what it is show that light was indeed scattered by the water molecules. Light was indeed scattered by the water molecules, a phenomenon that he called molecular diffraction, the false molecular detection. Even nickel prism also on a sample of seawater water said that light was indeed scattered by the water molecules, a phenomenon that's very significant that he called that molecular detection here. That's how it would happen. Like. So then what actually Raman wanted to, even you can say K.R. Ramanathan and K.S. Krishnan, who were the associates with Sri Raman, who were also one of the right personalities of this research, Raman Effect. And that major work is done by Sri Raman. So that this will also given credit that their efforts also very great. On his return to India, he initiated research in three areas. So they divided that here. So how they divided? So when the work is divided, so that is done properly. So three areas, three people have been taken that. So K.R. Ramanathan and K.S. Krishnan and Mr. C.V. Raman also. So these people had shared themselves the work. On his return to India, he initiated research in three areas: the scattering of light by liquids, the scattering of X-rays by liquids, and the viscosity of liquids. Of these three, it was the work in the first area that fetched in the Nobel Prize. Of these three, it was the work in the first area on his return to him that you can see the scattering of light by liquids. So the three things, the scattering of X-rays by liquids and the viscosity of liquids. So in that sense, what is the first thing, whatever he pointed out that here, the scattering of light by liquids had got the Nobel Prize here. The first area fetched him the Nobel Prize. On the morning of 28th February 1928, Raman and his associates had irrefutable proof of the modified radiations observed in the scattering experiments due to molecular vibration. So on the morning of 20th February 1928 itself. So then what was going on at the time itself, he expected that definitely he would get Nobel Prize. So that was the confidence we can say. So confidence and overconfidence. Generally people say if you get something like Bharat Ratna or something like it is just for fun. But really if the people would have taken that serious, there might be chance of getting any award. So Nobel Prize, the person who got here, at the same time any award would be definitely coming to the people. Then you have that intensity at the same time intention. Intensity must be there at the same time intention also must be there. That on the morning of 20th February 1928, Raman and his associates had irrefutable proof of the modified radiations observed in the scattering experiments due to molecular vibration. So that scattering effects here, experiments due to only molecular vibrations. Because of molecular vibrations only, the scattering effect experiments were there, and because of that only, that okay, the one thing they found here because of only the scattering of light by liquids. The discovery, we can say that here the discovery has come. The discovery was announced through the Associated Press on 29 February and 8 March. This 28 February and 8 March, two times they conducted a meeting, a press conference was conducted and announced that what was that affecting the Raman sent a detailed note along with an explanation to nature. So nature is an international journal. At the time, only the scientific research papers were published. So that the nature is here. The nature is an international journal. There only the journal used to publish only scientific inventions and researches. So that in that renowned the journal also his article was published here, we can say Raman sent a detailed note along with an explanation to nature. The South Indian Science Association on 16 March 1928 with the following words. They said that here. I propose to speak to you this evening on a new kind of radiation or light emission from atoms and molecules. By this time, the experiments were replicated and the findings were confirmed, leading Raman to the inevitable Nobel Prize. Leading that, okay, what he said that leading Raman to the inevitable Nobel Prize. Raman had achieved what he had claimed in 1920. So what he had claimed that in 1924, he said in advance that he got right in the clear that Raman affects what he said about the Nobel Prize when he got that invention. At a meeting of the Royal Society of Fellows, he had announced that he would win the Nobel Prize in Physics in the next 5 years. So in 1924, what he announced that within next 5 years of time, he was going to get Nobel Prize. That had become true. The discovery of the Raman spectroscopy, we can say that here, Raman spectroscopy. The discovery of the Raman effect led to Raman spectroscopy, a field of study that has a lot of practical applications. So the field of study spectroscopy is a field of study that has many practical applications. So that Raman's effect led towards the Raman spectroscopy. While traveling through a medium, the light beam is deflected by a molecule in the medium. What is found that here? Only that line. While traveling through a medium, the light beam is deflected by the molecules in the medium. So that line, what is found, what is said, it was a great huge effect on entire world. Raman spectroscopy is used in handheld scanners and the pharmaceutical industry. Today, Raman spectroscopy finds a lot of applications in various areas such as the study of molecular structure of compounds and health scanners for detecting drugs and explosives. So the spectroscopy has found that many kind of illegal kind of things. The pharmaceutical industry and medical diagnostics also are using Raman spectroscopy today. So what essentially is the Raman effect? Raman discovered that when a light beam travels through a medium, it is deflected by the molecules in the medium. Very interestingly, a small part of the emerging light beam, after being deflected by the molecules, had a different wavelength and color from the phenomenon, which initiated the study called Raman spectroscopy. Today, Raman spectroscopy finds a lot of applications in various areas such as the study of molecular structure of compounds, handheld scanners for detecting drugs and explosives, the pharmaceutical industry, and medical diagnostics. Anyhow, the person who got the prize here, you can see, after it's in that 1928, so at last he got the prize. That was a great thing. So everyone has to think in different way. Definitely different things come through in our lives. So different things, different thoughts only make the poor people uh, out of crowd. So if you want to be out of crowd, what you are doing is very important than what you are thinking. So everybody thinks something else, right? But only few people implement them, few people achieve them. So that so Raman also had achieved. So the first Nobel Prize for India. So that was a great thing. So we have to appreciate the person for his great efforts. Uh, so I would like to conclude by this. So further, I'll come with other topics also, whatever are prescribed for the first unit of Raman Effect, the grammar which is consisting that. So this is your Dr. B plus University of Prof English, Prayers in Software Engineering and Technology Hyderabad. Thank you so much for listening to me patiently. With your right, your patience definitely gives you great strength because that's only the success today. We are in pandemic situation. Be at home, be safe, and wear the mask when you go out. Thank you so much for right listening to me. So this is a class for you today. The first unit of JNTU-H described English for the B.Tech first year students. Thank you so much for listening to me once again. So I hope definitely you like it. At the same time, I share to the different people who are in the first year of different colleges.